Welcome back to another episode from the Movie Podium, a weekly podcast where we collectively choose a movie to watch, and at the end of the week, we get together and talk about it. It's kind of like a book club.
But for movies.
Hey, it's but for movies.
We also came
But
up
for
with
movies.
a set of a question to ask ourselves, such as, is this a top film in the year of its respective release? I'm your host, Matt Scott, and I'm here with my dudes, Eric.
Hello.
You dirty dog. Daniel.
Heyo!
Let's go with hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
Hello, John.
And last but not least, we got Cooking with Kevin.
Play the song.
Hey, that's me.
He's back.
Kevin gets the song because he's got his nice new beard, everybody.
Yeah.
Please
And
be nice in the comments and comment on Kevin's beard, how handsome he looks.
also check out the background. I'm loving the pics back there.
Look at that wall.
Bond wall.
Yeah, multiple
that you
languages
just built.
too, so we're
Bond
worldwide.
wall.
Should we roll the
Bond.
intro?
Oh, let's do it.
Okay.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, cheers.
I think we did that backwards, but whatever.
It's okay. Yeah, I've been kind of messing around with the way it starts
False
to get
start.
the movie going first.
On the offense,
So not a big deal.
10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
John's watching football still.
No, I'm not.
Nope.
How dare you accuse me of liking football?
Yeah, who does that? All right.
Now he is.
Wait, they're in Europe too, aren't they?
There,
No, they're in
sounds
Brazil.
like it, Kev.
Oh, Brazil. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, even better.
Close enough. They all play soccer. This week's film is part of our month of Spieltember and one of the all-time children classics. And without further ado, we present our next movie.
In 1975, he directed Jaws. In 1978, he directed Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Creepy little alien comes to Earth. Then he around with some and goes to space. We can bleep that out. I'm sorry. I started swearing and then I was like, oh, it's way too early in the pod to swear.
So I don't know about you guys, but this one hits hard. I know not everybody here grew up on this movie like I did, but there's some familiarities that I think we can all relate to in some way or another. Eric, when do you first remember watching this movie?
I honestly don't know. When I was rewatching it, I do remember, like, very vividly the first part of it. I honestly don't know. I was a little kid. I know that, but that's as specific as I can be.
Yeah, just curious. All right. And Kevin,
What about you?
Oh,
When do you remember?
I remember
watching it?
watching this when I was probably about 5. And I can remember I was in Athens, Ohio, watching
Nice.
this. And
1993.
yeah,
Go
exactly.
Bobcats.
11 years after its release.
Right. And then I also saw it when it came out in 2002, actually, when the re-release of it came out. And that was
Nice.
really cool to see in theaters because obviously we didn't see it in 93 or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool when it came back. All right. Ready for some random ass facts?
Yes.
Let's do.
All right. First random ass fact. This has a Thor has a Thor 0.9 or 7.9 on IMDb.
Ooh, Thor point. That's a pretty good score.
Yeah.
A Thor score.
It's a
That's a pretty good Thor score.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Spielberg movie. It's not his best, not his worst, you know, so kind of where I expected it. There's holes, but it's also,
You guys watched
know,
Holes? I watched E.T.
weird. I like the better than holes, but all right, there's some good trivia behind this one. First one we've got, E.T.'s budget was around $10 million. This ran for over a year. and actually grossed over $792 million with an adjusted inflation amount of about $1.2 billion, making it the fourth highest grossing of all time.
Wow. So you said
Really?
it ran for over a year, like in theaters?
Yes.
Wow.
It was,
Yeah.
I don't know the exact stat, but it was like 9 to 11 weeks in a row, the number one at the box office.
You really
Wow.
shoved this
Yeah, I
down your
remember
throat.
Titanic
Well,
was something
different
that ran
times.
for a really long time in theaters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Titanic did that,
Yeah.
later on. So this overtook Star Wars, his buddy Lucas's,
His buddy.
for highest
bud.
grossing film. And it wasn't until 11 years later when Spielberg's Jurassic Park took over for best or highest box office.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
Some good company there. I mean,
Yeah.
from like a mainstream hit, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I can't get over it was in theaters for a year.
A year. Yeah.
I know. It is
Like, that's
crazy.
crazy.
Different times, but it is still
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, that many kids went and saw it, basically.
Yeah.
It was a cash cow.
Yeah.
Notorious. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
We'll get into that a little bit. Speaking of the box office lore, of the top 11 box office films of the 80s, this is the only one to not have a sequel or be remade.
Oh, shit.
I think that helps our
Really?
case for one of our questions.
Yeah.
But isn't that wild? It's never been remade or a sequel.
and it made
Yeah.
all of that money the
And
first
it made
time.
all that money. Right.
So they have that temptation to remake it and just fucking cash
Exactly.
in.
Or
Right, and-
Avatar, which lost out to Avengers, and then was like, "Oh no, we need to go back to theaters so we can outscore Avengers."
We'll be back.
I'll
We'll
be back. No. Yeah. So I think that's kind of a cool aspect of this movie is that Spielberg didn't want to go try and redo this again. And nobody's going to get his blessing. So I think we can put it that way. All right. There's a lot of wild theories, and I'll kind of briefly touch on them. And a lot of canon in this movie that we won't completely dive into. Daniel and I talked off air. There's a million different wild stuff going on with all the Star Wars references. And, you have E.T. in the Senate in the Star Wars movies. Notice, though, you have the scene where he's playing with all the action figures, and he has Greedo, Lando, Boba Fett, but there's no Han Solo, right? Well, one of the reasons being that Harrison Ford actually was supposed to be in this movie or had a speaking role. He was going to be the principal of the school and was later cut out of it. But that's why there's no action figure of him. Spielberg didn't want to confuse people that much. He was more so...
principal.
Yeah, he's more so just kind of giving it to Lucas, or they were buddies, so a lot of times they were going back and forth, including little pieces of their friends'
They were
movies.
buddies, all right.
Yeah.
Daniel,
Yes, because there is a rabbit hole that you can follow that I followed the other day. And
dangerous.
it left me confused and angry and questioning everything. Because canonically, this, Star Wars, and Indiana Jones are all in the same universe.
Yeah,
And the Star Wars movies are in the same universe with... it's just very messy.
with action figures and
Yes. Action figures.
commercialization.
But then C-3PO and R2-D2 are on the walls in a tomb.
Yep.
So they have visited Earth at some point. And then George Lucas makes a movie about the events that are history to the ETs.
Right. So there's a lot of wild stuff going on.
Yes. So
On
I
top
got
of that-
I got very stupidly...
I think
Well,
you're
that's
right.
what happens when you have two
Confused.
friends making movies and sharing them, basically. And they were bouncing ideas off each other too, right?
I don't think it's supposed to be a shared universe. It's just a
It-
reference to a movie.
We know.
Yeah, but that's
But
just
you
like
can
your
get in
opinion,
there.
man.
So, all right. Well, here's a couple other ones, Kevin, that see what you think. This one, I don't know if it's too convincing, but there's a theory about Keyes being Elliott and that he traveled back in time to be there when E.T. arrives this time. He even tells Elliott, "He came to me too. I've been wishing for this since I was 10 years old." Well, Elliott is 10 years old.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird parallel.
Yeah.
It's just a reference.
Just a weird coincidence. I know.
It's all just a reference, man. They're just referencing things.
Right. All right. Well, here's a even more weird one. All right. Ready for this one? There's a lot of parallels between E.T. and Jesus. I'm not kidding. It sounds funny. But there's a lot of articles on this, actually.
Okay.
You've got baby Jesus as E.T. comes into a world of darkness, symbolized by night, right? Immediately sought out in the darkness by mysterious men like the Magi. His first words are...
man with the keys on his belt.
Right. His first words are "be good," which pretty much sums up Jesus' teachings. They're both life givers that restores vibrancy, right? As he, helps out the wilted flowers. He also points up
Miracles.
to the sky and says his dad is up there. Oh, and for good measure, he comes back to life and goes home for good. He resurrects in this movie and goes home.
Yeah,
that's true.
Does he promise to be back? That's...
He says, "I'll be right here," but we'll get into that.
Okay, yeah. Points to Elliott's
His head.
head or chest.
Yeah, his head. So, and there's a lot more. Those are just the ones that stuck out to me with Jesus. There's a ton of those. You can draw a lot of parallels there. Just thought that was weird. And Spielberg's Jewish, so who knows?
Yeah.
All right, last random ass fact. And this is probably the only fact since we've gotten to the box office. But I feel like it needs talked about. One of the most famous product placements in film history is obviously the Reese's Pieces, right? That Elliott uses to lure E.T. into his house.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a little backstory behind this. I guess Spielberg actually made a request to Mars, who obviously owns M&M's, which happens to be Spielberg's favorite candy, first before going to Reese's. But they said, "Hey, we need to see the movie script that you're making before we let you use our candy." And Spielberg and Universal said, "Hell no! Like,
We just want candy."
Yeah, we just want to
let us
use your candy,
bro.
So Mars rejected. And so the story goes, Spielberg thought, what was my second favorite candy? And so he went to Reese's and they let him use the Reese's Pieces. They actually paid them $1 million, Reese's did, to get their product in the movie. Well, it paid off for Reese's because they experienced a 65% bump in sales after this movie for Reese's Pieces alone.
Yeah, Hershey's is part of Mars now, right?
Hershey's.
I
are
think
they?
I think
can't tell
Hershey's
you
and
that.
Mars are basically combined.
Are they
now.
one now?
Yeah.
Goddamn monopolies everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
Some bullshit.
but
Don't go on the rant,
At
Daniel.
the time,
Don't do it, Daniel.
but at the
Reese's
time, isn't that a crazy
pretty
story?
sweet. Yeah, that is.
Oh yeah, I mean, Reese's Pieces was in its infancy at this time too. I mean, it was kind of a gamble for Hershey to make that, and they paid off lucratively, obviously.
Yeah.
Get
So
it.
Spielberg's favorite candy is Mars, if you learned anything today, and E.T. made a lot of money.
Reese's Pieces.
But not for Mars.
Yeah.
M&M's are mid.
Reese's Pieces are hot. What's top? I don't know what the
John?
good of
Dank.
mid is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dang.
All right, John, favorite hand candy.
Favorite
around the
hand
horn.
candy?
Is this a John top 5?
No.
No, I'm just going around the horn real quick. We'll edit so it's not this dumb.
Like
slow.
what's hand candy?
Just favorite candy.
M&M's.
M&M's.
Things you eat with your hands are candy.
Skittles.
Starburst. Yeah.
We're talking about Crunch bars too.
Don't worry, Daniel. I'll edit this out.
Daniel
Yeah, it's got to be
very
Reese's Pieces.
unhappy.
Just because it's on my mind. I'm sorry.
Reese's Pieces.
Yeah.
Eric, what would you say?
Reese's cups.
Oh,
Nice.
Mini
Daniel?
cups.
Reese's Pieces. They're delicious.
Fuck yeah,
Dang.
they're awesome.
Kevin, you don't like chocolate.
I can't eat most of it, but I go nerds.
Nerds.
Ooh,
Nerds,
nice.
that's a good one.
Nice one.
And I'll
You
go with...
are what you eat.
Oh.
I don't read, you nerd.
And I'll go with M&M's, but the peanut kind.
Okay.
Definitely
Okay.
not. I
Yeah.
agree.
Regular
M&Ms are mid.
M&Ms are so mid, but
Yeah, they're
I agree.
boring.
Like the other M&Ms are pretty choice. Peanut
Yeah,
is great.
agreed.
Peanut
Yeah.
butter is great.
Oh, peanut
The
butter.
crispy
Yeah,
ones.
yeah.
The crispy ones get slept on a lot, I think.
Yep.
Those
Agreed.
pretzel ones they came out with were pretty
Pretzel, good. Yeah,
say I've
I
had those.
agree.
Yeah, I
Alright.
just want to go down to the gas
I know.
station and get some candy.
Yeah, whoever's listening, sorry if we influenced you
Russia,
on
if
anything.
you're listening.
All right. Favorite thing. First question. Favorite thing about the movie. Let's go with Kevin, since you haven't been on in a while.
The bicycle scene going across the moon.
Yep, there you go. Nice.
Great scene. Nice.
It is a great scene.
Daniel, what's your favorite thing?
E.T. day drinks. That's real funny.
Yes. Yeah, he does.
He just starts
It is
cracking
pretty
'em.
funny. And
Yeah.
I thought of you and me on that because of the chorus.
Yeah. He just starts cracking them, man. Just
It's like, what's this? Oh.
I think it's funny when the mom gets home, she doesn't say anything about the cores because who's
Yeah.
drinking that?
well,
He's like,
Elliott
"It's fine."
apparently.
Yeah, right. And she didn't care.
He's what?
John?
He's drunk?
Yeah, exactly. John?
Favorite thing?
Yeah.
The music.
Nice.
Nice.
It carries so much of everything. Like, it pretty much tells you how to feel in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's magnificent. I assume it's John Williams. I didn't check,
Oh, yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
top notch.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool that you say that. There's a little bit of backstory on that, real quick. John Williams made the score before Spielberg finished the movie. So normally Spielberg will make the movie and then Williams will kind of match up with the score. Spielberg was not settled on how to put some of the scenes or how to finish some of the scenes. So Williams actually did the score first, and then Spielberg tried to hit all the beats with those score moments. So that's why it makes you feel those ways.
Okay.
I mean, John Williams carries the movie in that sense from the emotional standpoint. So I think you're spot on. And
But
from that Reddit
sounds
thread
like
that we
they
found.
worked together to carry it. Him and Spielberg.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that Reddit thread that you found with all the lists. I mean, this was one of the highest ones, and it kind of makes sense now when you watch it back. Eric, what about you?
I said that it just reminds me of my childhood. Like, I just went directly back to that. I was like, oh, yeah, I remember watching this as a kid. I love this.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of nostalgia, absolutely. And not even like, oh, I missed this. It's almost like, whoa, remember when you had to go out to give the pizza delivery guy cash? Like, they didn't give a shit about you or going to the
Or
door.
walk around
Yeah.
the telephone cable in your living room.
Yeah, right? Like, I don't
Someone's
miss
using
that,
it.
but I kind of forgot about it. So it is cool seeing some of those.
Yeah.
Or like the dim lit kitchen.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, with
we
the
all had
mom's
the dim lit-
cigarette burning.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. My favorite is the same as Kevin's, believe it or not. It's the last 20 minutes of this movie. I think it's safe to say Spielberg's the Mariano Rivera of closing out movies. Really, like, once we realize E.T. is alive, which is a really cool juxtaposition when E.T. You go from almost crying that E.T. is gonna die to
Almost
laughing.
bullshit.
Yeah, man.
You know,
It's
I
hard.
admit
Almost.
It's
I don't
hard.
have
right.
feelings.
Yeah. I almost cried.
He's
I
fucking
almost just
white,
bawled my
man.
fucking eyes
He
out.
is
Eric.
fucking white.
Sorry.
Eric,
Sorry.
Matt
Right.
is a computer. He doesn't
Sorry.
Yeah, I
process
don't-
emotions the
He
same.
doesn't.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to explain or express them.
Sorry.
We're waiting for the printout of that
How it works.
processing.
But you go from that to then laughing when Elliott's trying to zip ET up, and like
Yeah.
he's like ET phone home, and he freaks out, and he's
shut
like trying to
Get
you
the
go like
fuck
from a
back
really
in
sad
there.
to a funny moment, and then from there, you know, the famous chase scene that Kevin mentioned, and John Williams' score to that, the stressful moment to the like glorious they're in the air moment, and then the last 5 minutes, the long goodbye is just pretty deep and epic. I mean, we talk about the ET touching his head and saying, "I'll be right there." Well, that's obviously a nod to his imagination and the memories that they had. And there's a big void that E.T. was filling with his dad being gone. And so, like, just the way Spielberg's able to wrap it all up and evoke that emotion in the last 20 minutes. And again, we saw this with Jaws. He does it so well, and it's not over the top. I mean, yeah, they fly in the bike scene, but we did see him fly before, so we weren't completely, it wasn't out of shock, right? It wasn't a shock
Yeah,
factor.
he made
We already
objects
saw it.
float.
Right. So it was kind of cool that he had hinted at being able to do that. So Spielberg didn't take anything out of, unprecedented waters at the last part of the movie. So, yeah, I just think he knows how to close a
Good
movie.
reference.
All right, next category. Least favorite thing about the movie.
I'll take
All
this
right.
one.
Go
My
for
least
it.
favorite thing about the movie is the scene where E.T. died because I didn't almost cry. I fucking bawled. Involuntarily.
scene.
Oh my God. No, I could go the rest of my life without watching that scene and be totally fine, but I did not like it because it made me feel sad. I don't watch
fair.
movies to make me feel sad anymore. So
Yeah,
what I want to say is just fuck you, Matt.
it was brutal.
I'll
Wait,
be honest. I
Are we
actually
doing
think
Schindler's
the sadder-
List later this for Spielberg?
Oh God, no!
No.
I don't agree with that. We're not doing that one. Not on the podcast. That's on your own time.
Yeah, you can watch that one.
Choose your own adventure.
Yeah,
there.
you watch that one, and none of the rest of us will, and you'll feel bad, and we'll feel fine.
It won't
Yeah.
be the first time it's
I think the end scene actually hits me more for some reason. Just him leaving. I don't know. But maybe because I know he lives. I don't know. That could be part of it too. If I didn't,
Yeah, I
get
did
you.
not know. I mean, I knew that it turned out fine, but I didn't know how.
Yeah, sure. Makes sense. Daniel?
E.T.'s a little fucking creep when he's using his telekinetic powers on Elliott. Little creep bag.
Yeah, you got that kiss in.
Yeah, not cool. Not
Yeah.
cool.
I'm going to go next because it kind of ties into my least favorite thing. So, my least favorite thing is, okay, they are how old? 10 years old, so 4th or 5th grade maybe, and they're dissecting frogs.
Yeah,
And not even dissecting, they're basically vivisecting.
killing
right? 'Cause
them.
they're alive.
Yeah,
killing them.
vivisecting.
So
Oh my
they're-
God.
So they're
Yes.
either right, or they're killing them with the chloroform. So I mean, they're doing something pretty messed up here. For 5th graders, we did not dissect frogs until biology in high school,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Yeah, exactly.
Well, dead
Like,
frogs. Well,
yeah.
dead.
Well, that
Like
too.
11th
Very
and 12th
old,
grade, yeah.
frozen dead frogs,
Yeah.
right?
Actually, Eric was my partner for that.
Yeah.
I remember
Nice.
that very vividly because I
Yeah.
didn't want to
Mr.
do
Miller's class, right?
It. Yep.
So,
Yeah.
so I thought that was
vivisected himself.
very odd.
Actually,
All right.
before we move on, I
Yeah.
actually the frog thing was my first least favorite thing when I was watching the
Ooh,
movie.
yeah, it was
when I was
bad.
watching the movie and they said, "Oh, just put the chloroform in there." And
Yeah.
put the cap on. I was like, "Are you fucking You're gonna kill those frogs?"
It's pretty messed up. Exactly. To make
just
the
watch
kids
them
kill the
die.
frogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was
Bad.
messed up. My other least favorite thing was I had one real quick one. It was Gertie being somehow gone from or absent from the house during Halloween. Like the mom didn't realize that was E.T., which, okay, fine. We'll chalk it up that maybe she's a little tipsy. But how did Gertie get out in the woods? I don't know. Just a weird
Oops.
one. John, what was your least favorite thing?
The loss of the pizza at the beginning. Ugh. Elliott, you had one job to get the pizza back up the hill to the role-playing game party.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
nerds.
Yeah.
D&D.
Bunch of
And-
nerds.
And dude, like he was walking up the driveway like he's gonna almost drop the pizza box, and you're like, "Don't fucking drop it!"
Yeah, I know.
But then he just walks around back and throws it on the ground.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I almost lost it. It's their
Also, the
fault
mom is
for
trying to like
trusting him,
bogart
to
the
be
pizza.
honest.
She's like, I didn't say you could get pizza. The kids paid for it themselves. What's your problem, lady?
But it doesn't
Yeah,
matter
exactly.
because it's all fucking ruined. It's all a fucking crime against pizza.
Thanks, Elliot.
Yeah.
All right. Anything to add, Kevin?
Now I'm going to go right with you on the frog issue, mainly because they weren't dead before they did it.
Yeah, that's
Like
Not
that
cool.
just
It's
doesn't
fucked.
make it. That is,
Yeah, not
yeah.
cool.
You got to kill an animal, and then you got to open it up, and you're in 5th grade.
I know.
the
He's
thing is-
10.
Oh yeah, what grade?
It's
I
murder
thought that was
theater.
I thought they were younger.
That makes
He's like
It's murder
exposed.
theater, which is so gross to me.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
it's pretty messed
hey
up.
kids,
Still
you get to
beating
watch this
heart.
frog die.
I know.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
cool.
I
do
was
it
pretty
quickly.
pumped when he like swatted everything away and all the frogs got out.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't
That
do
was-
it of his own free will, though, Eric.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm
He was
glad
being
ET did it.
controlled like a
Yes.
puppet. I must save these frogs because my alien overlord makes me.
You know, wait.
That's one way to look at it.
Is it
Speaking
like
of
Moses?
aliens,
Is he
Oh?
Moses with
Oh,
the
boy.
frog plague?
Oh.
I've got a top 5.
Oh.
This is my top 5 aliens in movies.
Ooh,
At number 5, we have Twi'leks from Star Wars. They are sexy, and they are pretty common in the Star Wars universe, as opposed to a lot of other aliens who you see maybe one time. The Twi'leks, they have integrated into society and are making their, themselves known.
Yeah.
Number 4,
sexy.
Spreading
I'm
the
going with-
sexiness, so to
yeah.
speak.
Well, Dave is probably a Twi'lek, is what I'm trying to say. Number 4 are Vulcans from Star Trek.
Fuck yes.
The Vulcans are very logical. They're very big on suppressing emotion. But they are liars. They are
Mild
liars.
Vulcan. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 3, I'm going with I didn't look up the real name for them because no one would know it anyway. But I'm going with Predators. So
They're
the Predator
predators.
from Predators.
Nice.
Pretty
It's
cool.
called Predator.
Yeah.
the predator.
Pretty cool. They do a lot of killing. They're sore losers though. Sore losers.
Yeah.
They do not take kindly to being beaten.
They're kind of like, what's Worf?
Klingon.
Klingon. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Warlike.
Number 2, I have Wookiees.
Ooh,
You people like Chewbacca.
see
They're very
that.
loyal.
Yeah.
If you save their life, they owe you a life debt, which is pretty cool. And they live forever, so they will see you die. You are basically like a dog to a Wookiee.
No,
They will have
nice.
multiple
Awesome.
multiple humans
Multiple
throughout their
humans?
lives.
I didn't know that. Holy shit.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Roll
I love
reversal.
Yeah. So you think they're big, talking dogs. No. You're the
We're
dog.
the dog. Yeah, we're the
Oh,
dogs.
that's awesome.
And number 1, xenomorphs, which are the alien from Alien and Aliens, Alien
Nice.
3, Alien Resurrection, yada, yada, yada. They are just the creepiest thing in the world. They will impregnate you by jumping on your face and putting an egg down you. Then the egg pops out of your chest. And then, if they don't kill you that way, then they have like acid drool, and they're real stealthy, and they just pop out of places and
That's beautiful. Well done.
Yeah. Holy
Kevin, there's a
shit.
good short just out of Daniel explaining Alien, and John imitated. Yeah, they're supposed to be the perfect specimen.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They take things from each creature they forcibly breed with.
Yep, I'm digging it. I agree. Well done.
Yeah, you're taking it.
Matt
like
loves a specimen.
Great specimen.
That's right. All right. Next category. Who won the movie? Daniel?
Spielberg. He can do it all.
Yep.
He can do it all. He starts out with Jaws, big horror movie. Then he goes to Close Encounters of the Third Kind, big sci-fi movie, but not, traditionally a kid's movie. Then he moves on to E.T., and he's like, hey, look what I can do. I can make that sci-fi. I can make it into a kid's movie. Boom. And then what's he do with it? He just makes it the, most popular movie of all time for a little while. You know?
He was
Spielberg.
in theaters for a fucking year.
Yeah. Spielberg just
That's insane.
keeps
on.
flexing. Keeps on flexing.
Well,
So Spielberg.
I mean, he went on a run. I think it was from 79 to 85 or so. I mean, he did Raiders. He did Close Encounters. He did this. What?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then it just goes on and on and on. It just gets better and better, or just chunks of really, really good. Yeah, that was mine as well. I'll just jump on that.
Same here.
Yeah, I'm trying not to say Spielberg for every movie we watch, but he's took a budget of $10 million and almost made $800 million.
Yeah.
The lady who voiced E.T., he found her when he was at a camera store, and he heard a voice, and it was someone that smoked 2 packs a day.
Oh, God.
Brought her in, recorded her, gave her $380 or something like that,
Are you
and sent her on her
kidding
way.
me?
No, I'm not kidding. This is a real story. And sent her on her way. Yeah. So she recorded for like 8 hours or something like that. Was it?
One day.
What the fuck?
And he heard her voice at a camera, like just at a store, and was like, "Oh, that sounds like something I could use."
You want to
sounds
make
like
less
an
than $400?
You know what she spent that money on, right?
I'm gonna say cigarettes.
College education. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
okay.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Definitely cigarettes.
John, who won the movie for you?
The kids' performances.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually do think that the kids bring it in this movie. You're right about that, John.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's really heartfelt and some really gut-busting, tear-jerking stuff from Elliott in particular.
yeah. I'm glad you said that. Shocking. Henry Thomas Elliott was not up for anything. He's amazing in this. I mean, his audition tape was basically this scene, or the scene where he's crying and stuff. And Spielberg saw that and was like, "You got it, dude. Like, you're it." And they asked how he
Can we
brought
just
those
wrap
emotions
your
out.
audition right
Yeah.
now for the feature film?
Well, they asked how he came up with that, and he said he thought about his dog.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, oh, jeez. Almost emotion. No, I'm just kidding.
Borderline emotion,
and
shut
Drew Barry-
down.
Right. And Drew
Stop the
Barrymore is
bleeding.
7 in this.
Yeah.
6 or 7. She's incredible. Like, she shows more emotion or emotes better than most adult actors. Like, clearly she was going to be something later on from how good she was at that age.
Oh, I
So
thought,
I'm glad you touched on that, John.
Thank you.
Kevin, anything to add?
I will say, E.T. won the movie.
Yeah, he didn't die.
I mean,
And he got to
didn't
go
die.
back home.
I mean,
Yeah.
just E.T. and the brand is everybody knows who E.T. is, and there's
Yeah.
even a I can't remember the company that does it, but there's
Mattel.
before a movie where there's the iconic scene of
Amblin.
going across the moon again.
Amblin. Yeah.
Yeah, you see that in the beginning of multiple movies,
Yep.
and it's
Just their
still
logo.
everybody recognizes and knows who E.T. is.
Yeah.
So yeah, E.T. wins the
Agreed.
movie.
Yeah. I mean, that's also the right answer for sure. All right. Next category. Favorite song moment or score scene? So there's not a lot of song moments, but
I mean,
as we talked about, the score is amazing.
yeah.
So anybody have any specific scenes? Eric, you want to go first?
My specific scene was the first time that they flew on the bicycle. When like the score just picked up beautifully as they were, like, that was the first time that we realized, like, oh shit,
Yeah.
they can fly.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
magic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was mine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Same.
I had the same or I had the same scenario, but I have the second time they fly.
Yeah.
Just because you almost think they're gonna get caught,
Yeah.
and it's that like real fast paced. I don't even know how to explain music, but the like real fast paced back and forth
Racing.
sound. Yeah, racing back and forth, and then it just hits the crescendo or whatever. I don't know, is that right?
So yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So
Look at the
same
brains on him.
Yeah, I don't know. Just making shit up. But yeah, I do like that
Me too.
that scene. So that was my song moment. And Kevin, that was yours too, right?
Exactly.
Nice.
Nice.
The score is so good though, as we talked about.
Yeah.
It makes you feel everything.
It does
Yeah.
just combine and just makes it a whole. It combines everything very well,
Yeah.
and it's concise with what is happening through it.
It's like
Yeah.
it. I mean, now that I know, you said the score is first, right? Mm-hmm. So like, it makes a lot of sense that score like directs the whole movie, kind of.
Absolutely.
Like it's intertwined through the whole thing. So
It is.
Makes
It's
Eric is
almost-
saying it better than I did.
Yeah, I mean it is in the
got your
whole
back.
movie. Also,
that's what Kevin
think,
said.
I think for an 80s movie, it's really well done as well. From a sound perspective, I don't think it sounds cheesy or corny. Like I watched one of the old Star Trek movies recently, and it sounds pretty. I mean, it looks really cheesy, but it also sounds
Yeah.
kind of cheesy. And so I don't think this has too much of a loss value from an age. And they don't go with high special effects or anything, so I get it. They're not trying to be too fancy or edgy. But I do think it holds up from that perspective as well.
Yeah.
Next category. Does this movie get made now? Yeah, I would say no. Maybe an attempt at something like it. Daniel?
Yeah.
If Spielberg wants to,
Back on this one.
I don't
Spielberg
think he wants
can
to,
do
though.
whatever he wants. He is.
Yeah.
He has that much gravitas.
Clout? Yeah.
Yeah. If he decided he wanted to make ET2 tomorrow, Universal would be like, how much money? How much money do you want?
How much you need?
All right, Eric.
Here's a check. We've signed it. We filled it out. All you have
You
to do
just
is
put the
write
value.
whatever you want on this line. Whatever you want, Steven. You can have whatever you want. You just take it. You go to the bank. It won't bounce. You can have whatever you want. Please do ET2.
Daniel, I've got a question for you.
Yes.
Because you usually do this if this movie has not been made before.
Yes. I still think that it would be made.
I'm saying if it has been made and it wasn't Spielberg, would it be made?
If it had been made and
hasn't
it wasn't
been,
Spielberg,
hasn't been made.
Oh,
somebody
no.
has this idea and it wasn't Spielberg. Would it be made?
No, but Spielberg can get whatever he wants. And I don't think you get a movie like E.T. without Spielberg.
Yeah.
I don't think this movie works with many other directors.
No, and I got a point to that.
Like it's kind of like Edward Scissorhands couldn't be directed by anyone but Burton.
Yeah,
this movie couldn't be directed by anybody but Spielberg.
No,
so
I 100% agree with that.
This movie had not come out, and Spielberg wanted to do a family-friendly alien movie, and went to Universal and said, like, "Hey, I would like to do this." Universal would say, "Absolutely."
Yeah, now
Here's the money.
Yeah.
Sure.
The voice of
Now-
E.T. would definitely be way more money, though.
Right.
A few more packs of cigarettes.
So I do understand what you're saying, Daniel. I said no because the same reasons for Jaws and the uniqueness of this. I think the story's basic and linear, which again we don't get any of those. There's never been a remake. There's never been a sequel. Spielberg's not gonna make this ever again. And I also have something to talk about in terms of this isn't a top 5. But there are a lot of movies that attempted to be like E.T. once E.T. came out. They were like,
Mac
oh,
and
let's
Me.
jump. Yeah. So Mac and Me, if E.T. was, Elliott in a wheelchair, you have Flight of the Navigator if E.T. went back, or Elliott went back with E.T. And there's just like a ridiculous list of movies where you're like, wait a minute, this is just a boy and an alien. If
Like an
something
endearing
else.
alien.
Yeah. So
Which is one of my dislikes, because the aliens might not be so friendly.
right.
John, that was like way earlier in the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
But for all of those reasons, they all failed. They did not, and that's what Daniel's saying. Like, other people tried to emulate this formula, and boy, they failed like crazy. Because it's not a movie that anybody can make. It's a Spielberg movie.
Yeah.
So, Daniel?
Normally, I'm like, the thing is, this movie isn't about restraint. Like, Jaws for me is about restraint because the shark doesn't work.
Yeah.
They have to hold back how much they use him in the movie. E.T. is a central character in this movie.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think... And CGI is to the point where I think they could make a good CGI E.T. now. And...
That'd be a bummer, but yeah.
And, well, it would be to you and I because we're practical effects guys. But
Yeah.
I saw that first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and a talking tree and a raccoon had me, like, welling up with tears.
Sure.
And, I'm not talking about because the CGI was bad. I'm talking about because they had me so invested in the raccoon and the tree,
Yeah.
who were both pure CGI characters, that I think that E.T. could work in a CGI environment just because I think he's a central character and he interacts all the time. Like, the reason I think Jaws would not be good is because I think they would get the CGI shark and they would be like, oh, we need to put him in the movie a lot.
Right.
They would deep blue sea it.
Yeah, they would deep blue
Exactly what
it.
you're saying.
Where,
that's fair.
And
that's already been done, and
I
it's
just
perfect.
think that because E.T. is such an established character in the movie that him being CGI wouldn't hurt it as badly as it would the shark and Jaws.
Yeah. No, I mean that's a good point. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's just where my difference on these two movies comes in.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. And I just think that it's not complicated enough, and we got to throw in 5 million different other reasons why ET's here. Like we get we get 3 sequels, and it's just convoluted. So, again, in my opinion, like the whole Jaws thing is, the simplicity of it, and I think that again, it's a Spielberg movie, so the only way it would get made is, as you said, if he did it again or redid it or whatever. He didn't do it before and he wanted to do it now.
Right.
But yeah, it's crazy. There's had so much success, and I mean they've even did a Jurassic World, right? They did more Jurassic Park movies. They just
Yeah,
didn't
but
do
that
another
was
ET.
that was outside. That wasn't Spielberg's.
True. That was Crichton, right?
Yeah.
True. All right. Next category. Favorite line of the movie.
It was nothing like that penis breath.
Oh, that's a good one. You think that started the whole penis breath thing?
I mean, I would assume so, but I don't know.
Me too.
My
didn't know there
favorite
was
part
a
about that
penis
was that the
breath.
mom started laughing too.
Yeah, it's like, she's like, "Don't say that. And
Stop
laughing
that.
at it. Yeah.
John?
E.T. phone home.
Ooh.
I mean, it's probably the most one of the most famous lines in movie history, right?
Yeah.
I mean, E.T. phone home. Mine is the "I'll be right here." I'll be
That
right
was
here.
Yeah, and he points to wherever he points, his head or his chest. I forget.
Yeah, it's his head. But
Head.
yeah, that's such a touching scene for me. I really like that scene. Daniel?
Douchebag.
Oh yeah,
The first time I ever heard the term douchebag.
I forgot about that. That's right. There's some good insults in here that we picked up as kids. And E.T. out of all places. Kind of funny. Again, how we keep coming back to these are all PG. Wild world. But things
Wait,
change.
was this before PG-13?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was this
Was it?
year.
It was this year.
this
okay.
year.
It was
They're like,
Poltergeist.
maybe we
Which-
need to add an intermediate level to this.
Right, which is Spielberg's other movie at the same time. Now, he didn't direct it, but he, produced it.
Produced it.
A lot of it was him. And
Blurring the lines.
if you go back and watch that, there's a lot of similarities between the two. Even the houses almost look identical. And he met Drew Barrymore auditioning for Poltergeist, because I don't know if you remember when we were little, the rumor was that she was the little girl in Poltergeist, which obviously isn't true.
Right.
But he actually met her for E.T. in that audition. So I had a couple other quick ones. So the conversation between the siblings are pretty funny in a lot of cases. When Elliott and his brother are talking about where things are, and Elliott's like, it's near the preschool, and his brother's like, where's that? And he goes, I don't know. Mom's always driving me, or Mom always drives me. And he goes, son of a bitch. Like, that's just a small but very familiar, relatable thing.
Yeah,
I'm sure
that's
for
pretty
Daniel
hilarious.
too. With your brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one that I really like is when when Elliott first introduces E.T. and before he shows, and I can definitely feel the Daniel Russell thing here. When he's like, can I trust you? And he's like, you have absolute power. It's like, yeah, I could see that, not trusting, hey, you're going to tell her, you're going to rat me out to Mom.
I have no
And so,
choice but to trust you.
Yeah, and I like how in a lot of movies in the 80s, you get, the bully brother or the stereotypical bully, and there's not really the bullies are kind of tame in this. And the brother and sister, you kind of get that bond there. And there's a little pushback, but that's normal. So I kind of like that it was a little different than the typical 80s in your face bully brother, you know, like it was almost more normal.
Yeah, he's a bully, but he's on your side.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah,
don't
it
know.
wasn't
There's
a
too
Home
many of
Alone
those.
thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
How often is it that bad? Like in Home Alone, like that's over the top. Next category, most rewatchable scene. John.
When oh god, this scene is so like outrageous. It cracks me up. It's the one where it's E.T. getting drunk intermixed with them supposed to be killing the frogs for dissection.
That's your most rewatch. Well, yeah, I guess the
Yeah, it's
ET
just so
part.
funny because can someone remind me how Elliott gets drunk or whatever? That he's
E.T.
acting
is
all.
mind controlling him, and E.T.
Yeah.
gets drunk. So Elliot
Telekinesis.
gets drunk because he's being puppeted by a drunk ass alien.
Okay, that is crazy weird, but yeah, it's funny how he lets all those frogs loose like Moses, and E.T. is just getting drunk at home. It's hilarious. I'll watch it again and again.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna I'm piggyback off John because
Yeah.
I said E.T. getting drunk and watching cartoons.
Yeah, Tom and Jerry, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. I would say. I mean, it's got to be the end chase scene, the bicycle scene.
Yeah.
Is such a classic scene. That one always sticks out. And then I also like the first encounter with E.T. And I'm talking about in the woods. So my kids, I didn't realize there are creepy moments or kind of scary moments in this movie. There are, apparently. I didn't really think about that. But when we're watching, and, you know, he's outside and he falls asleep or he's trying to, you know, catch E.T., and Spielberg does this great thing with the light where it shines and you see E.T. and E.T. freaks out. Well, Cohen had the blanket over. He's like, I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to watch.
Oh, no.
And Miles is like, I don't care. I'm going to watch. Like, he's
Miles like, yeah, give me
like-
more.
I mean, he is like literally like they're really actually fighting each other about that. But I just like how he meets him and with that scene, that shot, that A/B repeat would be E.T.'s face going and then Elliott screaming.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
One last one I think that would be good would be from an A/B repeat standpoint is just E.T. going E.T. 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 when he learns his name. That shit is funny. I remember Brad used to do that. I think Brad went around doing the E.T. E.T.
That sounds right.
I had one that I can think of right off the top of my head that
Yep.
I'm sorry, my dog was barking and wanted to go outside. But the just the finger touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of fingers.
I'll be right here.
Daniel, not that.
Daniel, don't. Thank you, Kevin.
Daniel,
Good
was
eye.
yours.
Bike scene.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right scene.
you already talked about it. Bike scene.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Next category. Most likely to be off-screen drunk. All right, Kevin.
I think it's me.
Let's see what I do. Yeah,
It's a me.
Daniel.
E.T.
Yeah,
That boy likes to
Yeah.
get fucked up.
it's on some banquet, man.
Yeah. Not even light. He's drinking
Not even
full
light.
flavor, man.
I know. Eric.
I said the mom because divorce and the ex is in Mexico. And he
Yeah.
didn't even like Mexico.
So I'll say the opposite and say their dad because he was not on screen at all. was probably in Mexico with some girl named Sally diving into some tequila sunrises.
Yep.
Nose clams.
Nose clams, yeah.
Nose climb.
That damn Sally. John?
I'm saying the mom because how do those banquet beers get in the fridge for E.T. to chug in the first place?
Yeah.
Yep.
I will also mention, or I wanted to get your guys' thoughts, the Halloween scene. Kelly and I were trying to figure out, was she intoxicated when they came down and she's like talking to them? Because she's like real giddy and kind of acting like she's drunk. It's not really spoken, but it kind of seems like she is.
Yeah,
Did anybody catch that?
I felt that, but I didn't. Yeah, like I didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't obvious, but
like
it felt
subliminally,
like it.
I felt like that, but
Same.
I didn't overtly think that.
Well, then she's definitely the off-screen drunk.
Yeah,
She's drinking
Yeah.
off screen. Yeah, that's a good answer. I mean,
She's
yeah,
low key.
yeah, for sure. I just felt that during that scene. She's like she's like laughing about nothing, and
yeah.
the way she talks to them kind of seems like she was intoxicated. All right, next, I got a couple good ones. Casting our friends.
I only had one.
All right, Eric, let's hear your one.
I said that John is the little sister because he's just kind of tagging along, trying to follow directions, man.
Repeating stuff.
Yeah, repeating stuff.
Nice.
That's all I had.
No, that makes sense. John?
Matt, I have you as the mom because she's conducting everything. Eric is Elliott. Not sure why, but Eric's Elliott. Maybe I'll find the explanation later. Daniel's the older bro because I feel like he could harass us and, bully us into shape. Dave is Drew Barrymore. Cute.
The answer is hot. No, he's
Yeah,
cute.
no.
Right now.
Tell your ET because we need to help you find your home, which is closer than Zanesville.
And you smoke like 2 packs of cigarettes a day, so
Yeah.
Oh, you stole mine. That's exactly why he's E.T.
Phone
Ned. I'm Ned. Well, Daniel?
I had two.
All right.
Kevin is E.T. because drunk.
Oh, yeah, that too.
And Dave is mom because hot.
okay,
Nice.
that's good.
I had 3. John is Gertie as well for me. He's the spoiler king and can't keep a secret. And, she's trying to tell their mom about E.T. there a few times.
Or like at the end when she's like, "Are the boys gone? I was supposed to give you this when the boys were gone."
That's John. 100%.
Like a 4-year-old.
Right. I said Kevin for that exact reason. Eric smokes 2 packs a day.
Definitely do not smoke 2 packs a day.
And he talks like this.
And then I had Daniel as Elliott, mainly because of his room and all the Star Wars toys and the telescope. And I don't know, I got the 80s version of Daniel vibe from Elliott a lot.
So, Elliot cuz nerd.
Yeah, exactly. Elliott was a nerd. That's exactly it. You can tell he's a nerd. E.T. gets him to kiss the girl, right? So I think E.T.'s kind of a
Forces him to kiss the girl.
Okay, well, I think E.T. might be kind of a metaphor for growing up a little bit. And so Someone's gonna get Daniel to kiss that girl. It's gonna be E.T.
E.T.
It's going to be Kevin.
brain controls him, and she's screaming in terror and running away, and he makes Elliott force himself upon that girl. That is not okay.
It is not.
No.
Kevin,
All
remember
right.
that. When you try to
All
get
right.
Daniel to kiss a girl.
When you use your alien powers of telekinesis. Please restrain yourself.
We got 2 more categories. Is this a podium role for any of the top billed cast members? I said yes for all.
Roll. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's for
Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
What do you think is on there? Out of curiosity, I think we did her with Wedding Singer, but I kind of forget what we came up with.
I'm not sure what I said, but definitely Wedding Singer. Definitely, like,
Yep.
I mean, 50 First Dates is also on mine. And then, Charlie's Angels is good. Like, she's just got so many good things.
Yeah,
Good is a
grown up.
strong word, Eric.
Good is a strong word.
I would my pushback would only be that this movie's probably from a quality standpoint better than those.
Yeah,
she doesn't have as
I
big
get
of
it.
a role,
Yeah.
but this also does start her career. I could see an argument either way for this one.
She was also
Everybody
in Wayne's
else-
World too.
Oh yeah, there we go. That was my other thought.
She was in Batman Forever.
She is in Batman Forever. That's right. Shout out to whenever we end up doing that. Well, we're doing that soon, but shout out to when it comes out. And then there's Henry Thomas as Elliott. He didn't really take off like you'd think. As we talked about, all 3 siblings are really good in this. None of them, other than, well, Drew Barrymore, but the other 2 did not have a huge career. He was in some TV stuff, but you'd think they'd be in bigger movies after this.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also have Dee Wallace as the mom. I said yes,
I didn't
obviously.
recognize her. Yeah, I mean, I
I
said
didn't
yes
know
for
her.
everyone except for Drew
Yeah.
Barrymore.
Actually, I didn't recognize her from anything. And then Peter Coyote is Keys. And again, another guy that there's not any like star roles in this. The biggest name didn't even make it in the movie with Harrison Ford. So
Yeah.
I think it's easy to say yes, maybe Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
All right. Last category. Does this movie podium in the year 1982?
$1982 was a pretty scarce year for movies that I've seen.
Oh, yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of good ones. All right. Let's go Kevin first.
My 3 might be different from your guys's, but this would be 4.
Okay.
Number 3, because you guys know I am an Arnold Schwarzenegger fan.
Yeah.
I've got Conan the Barbarian.
Oh, that
It
is
is
different.
Fantastic. Well, I don't say fantastic, but it really started his career in movies. And it's a classic Arnold movie.
Nice.
Number
Then
2.
Red Heat just fucking shut it down.
Oh, that was like 6 years later. It's all right.
I know.
But
They halted
number
it.
2 is the better Spielberg movie, the Poltergeist. I like that
Interesting.
movie a lot better than E.T. And number 1 is the action-packed Russia versus USA, Rocky 3.
It's not the right Rocky movie.
Is it really not?
Which one was
No.
that? Was that Hulk Hogan?
Yeah. Rocky 3 is Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, Hulk
Well,
Hogan.
that's what I get for my half-ass research.
That was
Eric knew it.
honestly a guess. I'm just gonna cop up to
Yeah.
that. Like that is a
Under
guess.
list
enough.
and Mr. T is Rocky 3.
I looked
Yeah.
this up. less than
It is-
30 minutes ago,
well,
and didn't
well, you
look
got
into
Rocky
it, and I
3,
saw
right?
Rocky 3.
Oh, that's right. And it is a good movie. It's one of the better ones for sure. All right, Eric, why don't you go next?
I
Till
said
John gets
yes.
back. Okay.
It does make my podium. I'll say number 3 is The Dark Crystal.
Yeah, forgot about
Number 2 is Poltergeist. And then number 1 is E.T. Or
that. E.T. E.T.
E.T. E.T.
Oh, that's a good one. Daniel?
No, it doesn't make my podium. Number 3, I have Blade Runner.
Ooh.
Number 2, I have Rocky 3.
Yep.
And number 1, I have Star Trek 2: The Wrath of Khan.
Nice.
Ooh.
My favorite of the Star Trek movies.
Out of all of them?
Mhm.
Really?
Including the reboots.
But yeah, the new ones.
So, like, all the originals, all the Next Generation, and the reboots.
When we were on vacation,
Wrath of Khan.
they were playing. I think it was the first Star Trek movie, and I got sucked into that. It was pretty cool.
Nice. We were,
Wrath of Khan is way better.
Nice.
Wrath of Khan is really good. Like, it's like mwah, chef's kiss.
Sweet.
we're looking at doing the Star Trek movies at some point in one of our series.
Nice.
So we'll see. John?
Yeah, I think my number 3 is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's good.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
like that movie. And yeah, this can be my number 1 1982 movie. Why not?
Why not?
Nice. Very nice. All right. I think we all hit most of them. I think it's a decent year for cinema, not a great year. Gandhi won picture, if that helps. E.T. wasn't even up. Well, it was up for best picture, didn't win. It's better than Gandhi. That movie is very boring. Like 3 hours and nothing. 3 hours of literally nothing. Anyways, ones that weren't mentioned, The Thing is a really good movie.
Yeah.
Tootsie is a classic. And also, from a music standpoint, maybe my favorite, Pink Floyd, The Wall.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I said yes, this movie made my podium.
Okay.
This was a very
Hard
hard
indeed.
top 3, though, because I love 4 of these movies. I said Rocky 3 was actually looking in, so did not make it.
Rocky 3
I
is
had
4.
4, right. Number 3 is Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Number 2 is Blade Runner.
E.T.
And number 1 is E.T. E.T.
E.T.
Yep. I just...
E.T.
It was
is
a good year for that. I don't know. Blade Runner and it was tough. But
Yeah, I didn't think you liked Blade Runner when we first watched it in like high
I
school.
love Blade Runner.
Maybe it was Tommy or somebody else. But for
Yeah,
some reason,
no,
I
no,
thought
no.
that you.
Blade
I
Runner
thought
rules.
I was the only one who liked it when we watched it.
No.
It must have been Tommy or somebody else.
Yeah, Lindsay got me the
Special
Blu-ray when
stuff.
like the special stuff, and no, I love that shit. I haven't seen the new one though.
Me either, and I've heard it's better from some people. Like I'm not saying
Better
that,
than the first.
but I've heard that it's better than the first one.
Wow, that's
crazy.
Yeah, it was tough. I like Poltergeist, and The Thing's really good. But yeah. All right. Thanks for tuning into our show. Please like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, go to moviepodium.net
Hello, John.
or go to our Instagram and check out our 1 million view short that we made on Beetlejuice. Later.
Bye. Everybody.